I want my country back.
They're not English. They're not British. They don't look like me. They don't look like you. They're not us. They don't share our values. They don't share the connection and the ties to our country, our land, our ancestors.
For quite some time now, I felt as if my parents have been gaslighting me. And I'm not joking. Because of the way things are going in this country now, I've started to wonder if the world that I grew up in was actually real, or if my parents had built a kind of bubble that had made me believe Britain was actually different than what it actually was. For people who don't know, I grew up in a little place called Leicester in the East Midlands. Now, Leicester was notoriously multicultural. Of course, there will always be some sort of tension, there'll always be fights between people and arguments that probably stemmed from something very silly. But what I remember as a kid was the opposite of fear, and I'm so confused. Lately, I've started to feel tricked by that memory, tricked by my parents. But fortunately, last night, it was proved to me that I wasn't lied to. It was real. I went to a primary school called Mellor Primary School. It's different now, but it was run by a Sikh lady named Jasmine Man. She was so obsessed with making sure that we were all interacting with one another. We went to each other's assemblies, each other's religious assemblies. I was one of the three wise men, alongside a white kid and an Asian kid. I believe his name was Trishan. Then I was in Hanuman, the story of Hanuman with other children who were black and white and brown. The school disco was run by a Jehovah's Witness. We all went to things and we all were aware of who one another was, and it didn't matter. And we grew up in that. I grew up in that until I was about 14, 15 years old. I remember the kids who left early for mosque, I think it was for Eid. I remember the fireworks of Diwali. We had these little poppers that you would pop on the street, and they used the same lights at Christmas too. We did Bhangra lessons. I learned how to play the tabla. There were white kids and brown kids in the Caribbean Centre in the choir with me. There was these acting classes with this Jewish acting guy who was so obsessed with like all of our backgrounds being a part of the story. He would always reimagine these like traditional Shakespeare stories, but add elements of our different cultures. And like he would ask about the different colours that might be used in fashion, like because there were so many sari shops. He was so obsessed with stuff like that. I went to a rugby club that was predominantly white in Belgrave, but like there were black kids in there too, there were brown kids in there too. I was a basketball club that didn't really know what colour it was supposed to be. We were all just there together. That was my city. That was my home. And people are right, it doesn't feel like the way it was when I grew up. It does feel a little segregated, it does feel a little suspicious, it does feel a little small. So I thought maybe I'd imagined it, maybe my parents had sheltered me, but then last night I go to dinner with a friend. White girl, grew up in a place called Shepshed, one of the whitest places in all of Leicestershire. And she looks at me and goes, no, that was my experience too. She remembers having to wear saris for certain like school clubs, and she got henna tattoos because her friends wanted to do it for her. I had suddenly had this flashback of these three girls in year 6 in primary school. One was white, she was always doing the other girl's hair. One was Sikh, she was always doing the girl's nails. And one was Hindu, and she was always doing henna. They were just passing these things between them. This was the 90s, people. This world existed. So I'm angry. I'm fucking angry because whatever world I remember has been ripped away from me. And it's been ripped away by people pretending that we took one from them. Elon Musk talking about people in the Shires, hobbits. I'm from a Shire, Elon. What the fuck are you talking about? They have stolen this from me. My dad is a white man from Essex. My mum is a Caribbean woman who grew up in London, born and raised in London. They didn't fear any of this. None of us did. That's why I say, I want my country back. And I mean it.